So for tonight's program, this is something new that MS Views and News wanted to do. It's called MS Conversations Now, Patients' Voices. And for this program, I, of course, had to ask Damian Washington, who's part of MS Views and News. He does a lot with us. I'll tell you about him in a minute. And I wanted to bring in Tyler as well. So again, I am Stuart Schlossman, president and founder of MS Views and News. And I'm sure you know about me, and I just told you about the program, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about Damian for those that don't know. Damian was diagnosed with MS a few years ago and has grown his YouTube channel about life with the disease to over 4,000 subscribers. Damian also works with MS Views and News doing interviews with the MS patient leaders that he and our grant writer put together of who he's going to speak with as part of a new MS Views Now series. Now, the reason why I say in MS Views Now and Damian speaking with patient leaders, I interview the MS clinicians around the United States on the same series. Okay. But additionally, Damian will be doing a few programs with me as we're going to get together. We're going to do more interviews with other patient leaders over the next several months. We're going to do it similarly to what we're doing tonight, but we're going to have different people on. We'll see what's going to happen. I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but you all will find out as we go along. All right. Then we also have Tyler. Okay. So Tyler Campbell is online tonight, and Tyler's an MS ambassador who was the first person to play Division I college football with multiple sclerosis. And man, that's awesome. That is awesome that he was able to do that. Tyler's a professional speaker who specializes in delivering inspirational, recession-proof messages. I don't know what recession-proof is. We'll find out from him about that later on, all right? But his voice has earned him his own FM radio show in Austin, Texas. And we, MS Views and News, we hope to have Tyler mixed in with us for other ventures that we're going to be doing online as we go forward. And, I'm sure he wants to be part of this. So let's welcome these two gentlemen on with us tonight. Now, know this also. There's three of us on here, right? We got three different age groups here, all right? We're in three different portions of the United States. We're in three different time zones, and you're going to hear us with three different, dialogues, not dialogues, but I have different accents, right? Me with my King Eastern, Northeastern accent going, all right? That scares some people, but heck, others are not. And then we got Damian. Damian's out in Los Angeles. Tyler's over in Austin, Texas. So you're going to hear some cowboy coming out of him. All right. I'm surprised he's not on wearing a big hat too. All right. But we're just going to have some dialogue here tonight. All right. I wanted to, discuss their journeys. I want Tyler to open up and talk to us about his journey and, from when he received his MS diagnosis to current and, what this process has been like for you.
Yeah, man, Stuart, man, it's a pleasure. I don't know if y'all know this, man, but anytime you get to interact with these gentlemen, it's a true privilege, a true blessing. Now, for me, just a normal day in 2007, I was playing football, San Diego State University on full scholarship, last game of the football season, a month after my 21st birthday. I woke up out of bed after a football game, and instead of rising to my feet, I fell flat on my face. We all take it for granted that we're going to be able to wake up and walk or wake up and do what we normally do. And I couldn't without warning. Then I noticed that my speech was failing me. I noticed that I wanted to move the limbs on my right side and they didn't work. And my body started twitching at the neck level uncontrollably. And it just, to be one way the night before and to wake up another, just, can I be honest, Stu? Like, terrifying. Sure. Like, completely scared. Ended up getting shipped to Scripps La Jolla Memorial Hospital in La Jolla, California. If you've never been to La Jolla, you should go. I wanted to go. My problem was I was going to get diagnosed with something. I wish I could have gone under other terms. So that was my first time to La Jolla, and diagnosed very quickly, which we all know is not the case, right? That's a lot of what happens with us with MS. I was diagnosed very quickly after a spinal tap and an MRI with a hunch from a neurologist. The lesions revealed itself and the spinal tap tested positive for MS. At that time, I did not know. I thought everybody diagnosed that fast. But as you walk this journey, you learn that is not always the case. And for me, I looked at that as a blessing, right? I looked at that as something that said, okay, you were one of the lucky ones to get diagnosed early. So that means you have to go beyond and go further to give hope to somebody else. You know, a lot of times we live an attitude of selfishness in this country. It's all about me, and I, when instead it needs to be about we and us.
That's true. That's quite true. Quite true.
So that's how I got diagnosed.
All right. Well, thank you for that, Tyler. Now, before I go to Damian, I just want to let everybody know that we've got a lot of questions that people gave us when you registered online. All right. But for those that have questions as we get into this, I could stop the program in between. If you want to use the question box on the top right of your screen there in the toolbar, most of you have been here with other programs of ours. Just ask your questions and I'll ask, whether it be for Damian or Tyler, please put that in as well. All right. Now, Damian, tell me, tell me, whatever, tell us what happened with you when you were first diagnosed and coming forward.
Essentially, my wife and partner for, at the time, 16 years and now like 20 some odd years, she felt something was wrong with me. She's like, something's wrong with you. You're leaning on me differently when you walk down the street. I don't know what it is, but you need to figure it out. And many doctors later, I figure out it's MS. And I'm getting spinal taps that didn't heal, and I'm a wreck and on bed rest, and like, I gotta be in a different place from this.
That's where you're at, huh?
That's where I was, man. I was, my lady noticed something was wrong, and eventually 3-4 doctors later, I knew I had MS, and that was it.
Okay, that's great. Well, it's not great, but you got diagnosed, and that's a good thing, right?
Stuart, not great, Stuart.
It's not great, but it is better than having cancer.
Amen.
Right?
Amen.
Okay, so there could have been other things that it could have been far worse as well than just getting MS. At least with MS, you have treatments that you can be to be on. All right. So if I were to include myself in this conversation, I would have to say that it was way more than 10 years before I was diagnosed. Well, I was having symptoms going back to when I was a child. Okay. And they couldn't figure it out. And everything was being blamed on one thing or another. I had problems in school. I couldn't remember 15 minutes into the class when the teacher popped a quiz on me on the class. I couldn't remember what was done the first 15 minutes of the class because I got these cognitive problems. All right. Mm-hmm. But listen, I've got a lot to say. I'm not going to talk about me. This program's to be for the two of you. So let me continue here. All of us now active MS patient leaders making an impact in the community, probably a very different path than we originally envisioned. What do you feel is your drive or your mission to do the work that you're doing? And how did we land here in this position as public figures living with MS? So, Damian, let me let you answer that one first.
It's just one step at a time. It sort of really became this thing. I didn't go to the patient leader line and wait patiently for it to happen. I'm just a guy who's been speaking to cameras for most of his life in my profession. And as that flourished, I began to speak about MS, and I speak about MS now. It's what I do.
Hey, thank you. And Tyler, what about you?
For me, I think from that moment of being diagnosed, I told Dee this, and I told you this as well, Stuart. I needed somebody to lean on to help walk me through this MS process, and I never found that person. And so, like so many other people, a lot of the trial and error with MS has been, it was found by myself in that young age. So my vision became my mission. And what I mean by that is, like, I want people to go further, go farther, and get there faster than I ever did with MS, and go beyond what I've gone through and what I'm trying to do now. And the only way you can do that is if you allow yourself to be open. And so that's kind of the word I only have, Stuart, is I was just open and willing to share and willing to listen to other MS patients along the way.
So, Tyler, when you run into somebody that's got multiple sclerosis and they're down on themselves about it or what it's done to their lives, what kind of pep talk do you give them?
For me, it's, there's a lot of times in this country, we get it twisted, right? People are quick to do sympathy, but not so much empathy. And I want that to marinate on your cerebellum since we're talking MS stuff right now.
Sure.
When you have the ability to empathize with somebody, that means you can put yourself in their shoes and feel where they're coming from. You know, not enough to just pat me on the back, say it's going to be okay. But if you've never walked in my shoes, it's hard for you to have a conversation with me about MS. And so I think the one thing is to empathize with people, let them know that you've been able to walk this walk, and also know that it's not a death sentence right now. I think of like people like you, Stu, like I've listened, and there was a time where there were no medications. There was a time when doctors did not have access to resources. We're still trying to get access to more resources, but the times were way worse. So when people are newly diagnosed, I tell them, as bad as it sounds, now is like the right time to get this disease. And it does not mean your dreams have to die. It just means you have to find a new approach to your dream.
Thank you for that. So I see there's a few people online that I do know that have had MS for way longer than we've had medications for. And, you know, it would be great to hear from them down the line as to, you know, what got them to the point where we are now, you know, and how they kept themselves going. But Damian, can you give us an answer also to that, what I just asked?
Repeat the question, please.
Wow, you missed out. Okay, so what do you feel is your?
But I have multiple sclerosis, Stuart.
That's good. I use that too. You know. All right. So Tyler, can you tell them where we're at?
So it's about if someone who has been diagnosed or has MS, kind of like how do you approach that person? What type of pep talk do you offer, Stuart? If I'm not on the right lines, cut into me and
you're close enough.
Go ahead.
Close enough. We're supposed to be having a dialogue with each other, right? So I want you guys to interact.
Go ahead, D. Drop some knowledge on them, D. Drop some knowledge on them.
Right? It's cold in here. I got to take a tissue here, right?
Hey, sprinkle it with some Damian Washington and make it look beautiful on top of your answer. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
No, the idea of empathizing and really holding space for that person is what I would do. Everybody's MS is different, so I can't really put my experience or Tyler's or Stuart's onto that person. Just to continue to hold space for whatever they are going through and help them continue to realize that you can make strides and be better and be okay. And hopefully this is as low as we'll get.
And I like that. And there's nothing wrong with that, Stu, right?
No, there's nothing wrong with it at all. So it's great that you're able to do that. And, you know, the way that I got involved with what the question basically is what I've been doing from the beginning. So when I created MS Views and News, it was because when I was diagnosed, there was no information out there, nothing. And the doctors didn't want to take the time to tell you what the hell was going on with you. So I was already internet savvy. So I got on the internet and I started looking up things that, hey, you know, I just got diagnosed. I have all these problems. The right side of my body is not working. It's paralyzed. You know, why is this happening? Let me find out what's online. And then I got involved with a small support group. And I said, guys, you know, do you guys know like what's wrong with you? Nobody knew anything. I said, you ever go on the internet? Oh man, that stuff is bad. You know, they take over your lives. They'll get into you. I'm afraid of going there. So I said, well, if you want, tell me what you want me to, you know, to find out for you about yourselves, and I'll go on there and I'll get this information. And then later on, a lot of people were asking me questions. So I started making like a little periodical that I was sending out every day about all of everybody's different questions. And I was sending that by email to people. And what started off with a list of 20 now became 35,000, right? Wow. Okay, so that, you know, was my way of giving back, all right? But just to be able to do it, so I had to put a title on it also. I called it Stu's Views and MS News. Could you imagine that? All right. So that's how this all began, with Stu's Views and MS News. And when we became corporate, I had to get rid of the Stu's portion. So we just made it MS Views and News. All right. Now you know how this all began.
Oh, that was a dope story, man. Don't gloss over that as if that was just small time. Like, oh, we just move on from that, bruh.
Stu's Views and MS News. There are still people from around the country that knew me from when I first began with this and do not recognize it as MS Views and News. They recognize it as Stu's Views and MS News. All right. So our blog carried that title for a long time, and the organization was going to be that name until our medical board said, no, you can't do that. And those medical board people, every time I have them talk for us, they say, well, Stu's views. And I said, no, man, you just told me to get rid of that. And yet you're saying it yourselves, right? So, okay.
I
So
love it.
let's go forward here. We know that stress impacts our disease, all right? As a person living with MS, how did 2020 impact you? Damian, you're first.
Look, it's changed my business. I'm in the entertainment business. So when you make your living hitting marks and saying lines in public, when there's no longer any public, that means that you have to switch your way of making a living. And the appointment-based lifestyle that performers live, like being in one part of town at one part of the day, going to the other part of town, another point of the day, like that's my day. So I'm either doing that or I'm at home rubbing two sticks together, trying to catch fire with my career, so to speak. So this is pretty much what I have already been doing for years. Just the more shut in, the more I am home based. Like I don't really go out unless I'm going to an appointment. Now there are no more appointments. Well, looks like I'm just rubbing sticks together, trying to catch fire with this computer without going out. It's in a lot of ways. I've heard other people with MS say that now that this pandemic is here, the world knows what it's like for her. The world knows what it's like to be at and not really being able to do much or go too many places with her disease experience and her correlating those two. So like I'm saying, it didn't really switch up too much for me, but it's not good at all.
That's real, dude. That's real. That's
good.
real.
It's good. All right, Tyler, you, and then I'm going to take some questions online because we got some people asking questions there too. All right.
Oh,
so Tyler, tell me about it.
Yeah, for me, listen, before anything, I'm a husband and a father. So what 2020 showed me is regress and what's really important, TC. And refocus. Like others, like I lost business. People aren't traveling, paying for speakers. So, obviously my level of income and providing, but at the same time, I looked at what's important. My wife and my children. What type of husband can I be during this time to my wife? What type of father can I be for my children? And then at the same time, I want to encourage people that when adversity strikes, it really allows you to you really find out how creative of a mind you have. Because what worked in 2020 no longer works now. What was working in 2019 didn't work in 2020 when pandemic hit. So a lot of people who were listening, our minds changed. We had to refocus. We had to rethink, reevaluate. And actually what it gave birth for me was an opportunity to lean on my gift, to find out what really makes me happy, what keeps me stress-free, what makes me happy. And am I doing that thing that makes me happy every single day?
Great. That's great.
That's it.
By the way, I'm using my tissue not because Tyler's making me cry, but because it's just chilly in here. Whatever.
Snoop coming in hot with the Kleenex, D. He's coming in hot.
That's right. So let's see. There's a person that says, well, Robin wanted us to let you all know that don't let MS define you. And then she also wrote, that's so awesome. Stu, great story. You deserve all the recognition. Thank you, Robin. All right. Then we have Lisa. She wrote, you guys are great. Thanks for doing this. Tyler, I like what you said about going from sympathy to empathy. And how do you teach non-MS people to get that without getting us frustrated with people who are trying to tell us what we need to get to do better or be better? What can you tell us about that, Tyler?
I think it's patience with the journey, right? Because we've all been through so doggone much, and we've been through that where people really, they want to help, or maybe they, I think it's more so about us and our journey, and allow yourself to be patient. Allow yourself those moments of being angry. I think it's a constant ongoing learning process with MS. You never get there all the way. I'm still learning new things. But what I take about it is if somebody's trying, I look at it as a perspective like, okay, how I handle this particular person, even though they're trying to give me guidance, even though they're trying to lift me up, even though they're trying to have a conversation with me, and it may come off not as they envisioned, or it may not be digested by me, there's an opportunity that I can teach this person on how to maybe better go about having that discussion further because they don't have MS. So how can I educate this person so that the next person that they interact with, they can dialogue it the right way? And I think as long as you give and as long as you serve and as long as you look for an opportunity to help, you'll find out that you in turn get replenished energy because there's something special about serving and something special about giving that provides something poured back into you. So I think there's that opportunity to educate somebody. And then there's that opportunity to receive something in turn that you never knew that you were getting from that person because you're going to educate them to help somebody else. So I would start there.
Damian, I mean, Tyler, yeah, Damian, I'm getting confused here. Damian, do you want to add anything into that?
I'd echo that and then put on top of watching my own expectations for that person on top of that. And so my work is to not have those sorts of things. It doesn't matter what you perceive my MS as being and how you react to that. This is my life. This is my journey. And as much as I could want something from you, you're not walking my journey. So how can I ask of something from you? So I'm only really mainly concerned with being as best as I can and holding space for other people to be as best as they can as well. And hopefully them being their best benefits me as well. And if it doesn't, that's fine. But I don't have I'm trying, not trying to teach you, but just sort of, again, it rests with the other person. I can't make them empathize with me. I continue to just hold good space around them, and then eventually they will empathize with me.
Right.
Keep the power. I love that, D. You keep your power as an MS patient. I love that. You keep it. It's yours. I love that.
So Cindy wants me to tell you guys, so very true, Tyler. Awesome point. Damian, I'm in. So we're done with Cindy's comments, okay? Next, we have...
Love you, Cindy.
Peace.
Corinne, I might be saying this wrong. I'm sorry if I am. For Tyler, I was also diagnosed very quickly during the onset of my first symptoms. Do you have a hard time relating to the MS community? I feel like my story is different from many who went through years and years and doctors without a diagnosis.
No, I actually don't. For me, it's number one. I hope you should feel blessed and be thankful, and there's a reason for that. And also our disease is the same. You know, I don't want you to talk yourself out or belittle yourself into thinking that you don't have a word, that you don't have something that could bless somebody else. Because what you're doing in turn is you're blocking yourself from reaching that person. We're not a measuring stick with how bad MS is or how bad anything is in life. Don't compare my childhood to your childhood just because you don't think that. You have a life and your journey is a best-selling novel that has been yet to be written. There's only one you. There will not be another. So therefore, you're sitting on a journey and you're sitting on a story that has never been told. And as long as you can deliver, we've all gone through pain, right? We've all gone through our own battles with MS in our own way. And so when you can validate your pain and you can let your pain breathe, when you can let the hardships that you face with these, if it's brain memory issues, if it's running into doors, if it's whatever that thing, optic neuritis, whatever you've been through something, and you share your something, and your something is valuable because that something will bless somebody else. Do not belittle yourself.
Now I'm going to cry.
We do that. We do that all the time, bro. It's something about we feel like nobody wants to listen or hear what we have to say, or we'll get shut down. And you're standing in the way of what you have to actually bless somebody down the road. Don't do that. You've got something.
Damian, you want to do that?
No. You please repeat that question because I was on the TC Joyride. So now I'm like, no, tee the question up so I can hit it.
I can't anymore because it's gone off my screen after I read it.
So D, I think the person, I don't want to say he or she, the person was diagnosed very quickly. And they know that most patients are not diagnosed quickly. We know this. And that person feels like they can't share what they've been through or try to help somebody, or can't relate. That's the word, can't relate to someone else who took them a long time, or they've had a longer struggle with MS. What advice do you have for that person? That's what it is.
That all points back to not trying to change the other person and make them, bond with you because you have this disease. That's on the other person, man. Like, hey, what is your journey? How can you get better with your symptoms, to yourself? Grow your own kindness. It's not MS is our thing, man.
Yeah, but I'm going to take that a step further. This is not just MS. This is life.
Life. That's what I'm saying.
You got to go. You got to go at your own pace.
You got to.
Yeah. So it's probably you can relate it to the MS, but you can relate it to just life itself as well. I mean, there are going to be people there probably are people out there that expected so much of you. They wanted you to be a doctor, but you didn't. You chose to be a lawyer. Oh my gosh. And now you're representing people in the entertainment industry, and then you find people like Damian to represent. Okay, we go forward.
Yeah, I think, hey, great point though, Stu. Great point. That is a fantastic point. It was built up long before MS hit you. Your mindset of that own self. So you got to, now it's validated, right? It's there. Now we have to work towards battling that mindset of ourselves. Way bigger than MS.
And the idea, like me being an MS advocate, and like that's my main jam. I didn't plan on that. Like you do nothing. A lot of the things that you will get the juice from, a lot of the juice from the fruits of life, you just don't know what it's going to be. Just hold the good space, and my channel has turned into talking about MS, so you got to keep holding space.
All right, let me go back to 2020 for a minute. All right.
Okay.
What have you been able to do to excel things that you've been doing for yourselves or for those around you, even with dealing with your own MS? Are you able to go with that?
D, you want to go? You want me to go? I'm good either way, baby.
Go.
I think the biggest thing, I reflected back to like, you can't love somebody the right way until you love yourself. You can't help somebody the way that you want to until you help yourself. And so I want to be honest. I think I became a little bit selfish with my love for myself when the pandemic hit. I needed to take care of Tyler Campbell in a mental capacity, in a physical capacity that I had never taken care of Tyler Campbell before. I noticed that I do a lot, and I serve and I try to help. I was pouring out my cup all these years, D, and nothing was coming back in. So I took it upon me, in order for me to be the best person that I can be, I've got to take care of me. It starts here. And so the biggest thing that I did, Stu, was I started seeing a therapist. I started working on what the previous person, Corinne, was talking about, how you don't validate yourself. You don't, there's things in our past that keep us from achieving the future. I started working on those things. There's some things that I needed to address in my past. There's some pain points. There's some stress points blocking my growth with MS, my progression with this disease, the getting better. There's some things mentally, spiritually, and emotionally that I still had to talk through that I had not covered. And so in pandemic, in closed doors, in comfort, in doing something from the seat of my chair, it was easier for me to open up and dialogue and see somebody and tell somebody, yo, this is what I've been through. This is my hurt. These are my pain points. I've got to start addressing those things so I can be better as a person. So that's what I regress back to in 2020, was a focus on me.
Damian, your turn.
Whew. No, I might have to go first because I just be listening to you. And I'm like,
Please stop it.
You forgot the question again. You forget the question again.
These people know who you are, and not everybody has 4,000 YouTube subscribers, Stuart. Do you hear what I'm telling you?
No.
Anyway, he's being humble, y'all.
Go ahead. I'm trying to keep the thread in, man. That's all I'm trying to do.
Go ahead, D. Go ahead.
So please just repeat the question. I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, bro. I'm sorry. This is multiple.
Hey, Damian, listen. I want you to take out a pen and a piece of paper, and when I ask the question, scribble it. All right. Just make some notes.
Hey, Damian, you see I'm cheating. Y'all didn't know this. See, this is MS. I already have my pen. The only reason I can keep up with you, Stuart, is because I'm writing it down. So it's not just Damian's MS. Look, we just learned how to do things. We diverted, right?
That's right. That's right. So for the people, Damian, before I tell you what it was about, all right, I just want to get into some of what's being said again. So Yvonne says, so true what's being said, all right, and that was earlier. She's also saying, absolutely learning to accept yourself as who you are. You know, that's who you are now. Lisa says, wow, eloquently put, guys, so wise. I don't know what that was about, but it was said before.
That's all, Lisa. We out here.
And Cindy's on again saying, I have to say, I get so very tired of having to explain myself. I absolutely can't take the questioning. I try, but you're also right. We just need to be okay within ourselves. And Cindy, yes, that is quite true. You know what? They can't deal with it. Just tell them to leave. I mean, it's easier. It's easier if that they're not part of it than to be questioning it and doubting you. All right. I mean,
that's huge. That's huge, Stuart. And I think, look, we always, you know, it's okay to be honest with people, right? You know, I know we always love to validate, you know, people's feelings and take those things into account, but honesty is something that's been lost. And so it's okay to be honest and say, you know, you don't have to have that conversation. That's okay. And then it goes back on the people, like Damian said, to respect it, or that's on them. Once you speak your piece, it's on them to either receive it or object. But no matter what, you got what you needed to get off of your chest. And so therefore, it's easy to walk away from that conversation.
That's right. Now, Damian, I got the question for you. You want me to go back to that, or you want to talk about this?
No. Say it. Say it.
You sure you're ready?
Come on, zip it up, Stuart. Let's go.
You got your pen? All right.
Can
you share with us what excelled you in 2020 to do better for yourself or for others around with MS?
I think having the opportunity I won an award. I won the 2020 WeGo Health Award for Best Series YouTube.
Great. And that's awesome.
The idea that I just make content. That's all I do. But seeing how it affects other people makes me want to continue to develop what I do and how I do it to do it better. And 2020 was the year of me truly understanding that and being like, all right, well, I can continue to grow this. This isn't, you know, a nice position to be in, but I am in a solid position here. Not nice being that you have MS, being that you sort of have had to do the grueling thing to even make the hundreds of shows to even be in the spot that I'm in. But now it's just more like, okay, I'm here now. 2020 is how can I do this more? And how can I touch more people? And how can I bring more people together? That's what it is about.
Sure. Now, I just want to let everybody know, I'm not wrapping things up here. We got about another half hour. I got a lot of questions to go. I got a lot of questions.
The people were getting mad at Stu. They were getting mad at Stu. Stu, you better not be shutting this thing down.
No. I'm not shutting it down. And there's a woman named Tamara that wrote on here. Oh, my God, you guys is just amazing. I'm so glad I came and tuned in and listened in tonight. So thank you for that, Tamara. And all right. So, you know, anybody else wants to say good kudos for us? I appreciate it. You know, just let it rip. All right. Write it out. Now, I want to let you guys know what I did in 2020. All right.
Oh, yeah. That was my question was. I was going to ask, what did you do, Stu? That was going to be my next question. Go ahead.
So this is the deal. First off, you know, sometimes my hair gets longer and sometimes it gets too long and more disappears. So I got to watch out for that. I got to keep it cropped shorter, right? But aside from that, you know, in 2018, MS Views and News did 50-something programs, 60-something programs on the road where I was flying back and forth across the United States. In 2018, I was on the road 150 nights. And I swore in 2019 that I was going to cut it back. But that was a lie because it didn't happen. In fact, I was on the road 162 nights in 2019. All right. Flying back and forth from the East Coast to the West Coast, the North to the South. We were all around the United States. We were in rural America. We were in underserved communities in rural America where MS Views and News is the front running organization doing that right now. And I love it. I love going to these areas, and I love people telling me, Stuart, you can't wear a tie there. And I say, why not? I mean, that's what I do. I like wearing a tie. You know, I'm comfortable with a tie. But anyway, 2020 came along. All right. In the beginning started off great. So in January and February, I had already done 8 programs. In January and February, we already did 8 programs running around already. And, then came March. All right. Oh, my God. Seattle. Seattle was getting hammered with COVID, right? Mm-hmm. And nobody thought it was going to come east. It's just going to stay there, right? Yeah, sure. Then we hear that northern portions of California were getting it. Still, it's going to stay there. Well, I did a program the first week of March, and then we wound up in Columbus, Ohio. And going to Columbus, Ohio, the U.S. was starting to shut down. And I was like, all right, we're going to do this program up there. We're going to be cool. Everybody's going to be talking about this COVID now, or coronavirus. We didn't say COVID yet. We were only saying coronavirus, all right? And coming back from there, we decided we're going to put on masks. We had masks with us, and we put them on, all right? But, 2020, so everything shut down in March. And MS Views and News had done already. We were doing live streaming programs always in the past. It was no big deal for us to be doing a virtual program. Right now, everybody's calling it virtual. The word live stream disappeared. All right, we're doing virtual programs. And we were to be in Dallas, Texas. And Bill and I were going to travel. Bill, my video guy, he and I were going to travel by car because we didn't want to get on a freaking plane. I mean, nobody wanted to fly at that point. So we were going to drive to Dallas. But the number of the people that were going to be at that program was dropping rapidly. So I said, you know what? We've been doing live streaming all the time. Let's just make this a virtual program. And we wound up, instead of having 60 people in attendance, we had 120 something people online. So, wow, great. Wow. We found something we're going to do. And that's what we do. So I live 4.5 hours south of here, and I drive back and forth every week to do these programs. And in 2020, we started off with just doing 4 programs a month. Then we upped it to 5 and 6. Now here in 2021, we're going to be doing 8 programs a month, and 5 of them I'm going to be doing and driving back and forth and doing these programs. And you want to know something? I mask it. All right. I drive. But if I have to get out of the rest stop, this goes on, because this is more protective than this. Okay. Yes. This protects you all, but it doesn't protect me. This has something to protect me. So I wear my KN95 when I'm going in anywhere that there's a lot of people, and I'm comfortable in getting the 4.5 hours, making the drive to the studio and coming here. And instead of being on the road and flying around the country and doing all these things that I was doing, well, 2020 made me do what I am doing. I'm still providing. I'm doing what I love to do. Instead of doing it live and in person, I'm doing it live and online. Okay. So you get to see me with my different ties, and I get more people online from different portions of the country. All right. All right, so that's where we are.
Hey, y'all better put some love in the chat for Stuart, man. That is
that's phenomenal. Like, you did. That was a little short flex that just happened. Real quick. No, dude, no, it was a small flex because your man was like, "Yo, I've been out here." He dropped the numbers, and so I picked up my phone, and I was like, "Wait." Then that means that every 2.5 days, Stuart was in another
road. Wow, that's right. Man. So what we were doing was
just soft flex. I was everywhere, every time.
Nonchalant.
we were grouping some of our programs. So like we could be in Novi, Michigan, and we also go to Flint, Michigan. Wow, I remember going to Flint, Michigan. I was like, everybody's like, "Wow, how are you going to Flint, Michigan?" I said, "Bringing my own water."
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Come on now.
Open my own water. All right, so going on here, we got some people writing things. Let me see what they have to say. Now, when I'm like looking at the screen, it's because I'm looking at like 2 fonts, all right? So Tamara writes.
Bill, make the font bigger over there, Bill.
I don't know if it's Tamara or Tamara, but I'm going to say it both ways, all right? And how do you deal with people who suggest conspiracy theories that you should do to cure your MS? Bullshit. Okay, it's not there. Seriously, it's really not. All right. I don't know what conspiracy theories you're hearing about, but she also writes, I have a tendency to get very snarky with people like that. A coworker once called me the snark master before I was diagnosed. So I don't know. You guys have anything you want to say about that? And Damian, I hope you wrote that down because Tyler's going first.
No, I didn't. Come on now. We just did.
All right, you go first, Tyler.
No, I'm with you know, I get it. It's like I don't, you know, similar to what you said, Stu. You know, when you Google MS, when you go to Dr. Google, yo, it's some horrifying things. And the crazy thing about internet is like, you know, all of a sudden everybody's a doctor because they have access to quote unquote information. Everybody's a healer, and you really have to be careful about who you get your information from. And there are a host of reliable places. You're here right here now with MS News and Views, which is great. You don't know the source of where people's information comes from. You know, it's often like you don't take advice from a total stranger in general when you taught that as a kid growing up. And the same is true with your disease. Although people may come across, and although everybody quote unquote has the solution because they're the next doctor or they're the next know-it-all, you don't know the source of that person. So I give you the go ahead and the validation for yourself. You should for yourself to not just take what somebody says, because we don't know where that came from. We don't know. And this is your MS. How Damian treats his ain't the same way I treat mine. What works for Stu don't necessarily mean it's going to work for you or me. So there is no.
I don't have MS. I've been lying to people for 20-something years.
No, I just want to validate her and tell her like it's okay to push people off to the side, and you can like you can listen. You can hear people. It doesn't mean you have to listen. Write that down. You can hear people, but it does not mean you have to listen.
That's true.
Remember now? Pretty much how I feel. Like it's you leave it with them, and it's like, oh, did you hear about such and such? Oh no, I didn't. Thank you. It's just all of the. You leave whatever intention that person has by saying this thing to you. People love to talk. People just want to say something. People nervous. People just be like, oh, they just want to say something like, hey, how you doing? People don't care how you doing. And that is part of speaking to someone who has MS. Oh, you have MS? I heard this, that, or my uncle had that, and blah, blah, blah. It is a base level reaction. And it's not the job you signed up for, but your job is to just send that off into the light. And yes, that's rude. And yes, that is not nice, but I'm not going to react as if it was not rude and not nice. I'm just going to send it off into the light.
Hey, and Stuart, indeed, listen, they probably are telling you because they just scrolled through their phone. They knew you had MS, and it just scrolled up on their feed, posted from somebody, Lord knows who.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay.
So I want to know how many. Were either one of you ever asked if you ever did bee venom?
If ever did what, Stu?
Bee venom.
Oh,
I used to be. So years ago, it was known that bee venom is to be like a cure for MS. So in my younger years of having MS, and by the way, I think that's about 22 right now. So in my younger years, I had people asking me, hey, you ever think about getting stung by bees and get the bee venom? I said, I'll tell you what, you try getting stung by 100 bees first and you let me know how it feels and maybe I'll do it, right? Okay, go for it. All right, so exactly. So anyway, what I'm trying to say, I forgot who asked the question, but the bottom line is that people who think that they have answers out there, they really need to pick up their search what's out there before they speak, or just tell them that they need to go do that before they even ask any questions. All right. Next, let me read off some other things here because a lot of people writing stuff. Right. Diane writes, I don't need a therapist. I just need Tyler. Whoa.
Oh man.
Okay. Listen to the horn. Okay. What's your time, Tyler?
12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Central Standard Time every Saturday on 104.9 The Horn. That means a lot. And I just thank you, Diane. Thank you.
Do you wear a cowboy hat for that?
Man, listen, hey, Stu, and you think it's funny. I do. Listen, Stu was cracking on me. What Stu doesn't know is I love riding horses. I have a saddle in my garage.
That's great.
And riding horses is, I guess it's a Texas thing. I ride my horse to Whataburger.
That's good. I'm hoping that you ride Western and not English, right?
No, Western only, Stu.
Exactly. Hey, dude, when this crap is over with, oh, look at that. Oh, my gosh. There you go.
I'm just saying, you don't have to be living in Texas.
That's right.
And
That's right.
you just got that much more handsome, my brother.
That's
Talk about that hat.
Hey,
Take it off.
when this crap is over with, I'm coming out there to ride with you. All right, I love to ride.
Yeah, so we're talking MS News and Views, HIPAA therapy.
Horseback.
Look it up.
Therapy.
HIPAA
I know what it is.
Look
I know what it is.
As MS patients.
Do you know how many people think that HIPAA therapy has something to do with hippopotamus?
All the time. I get it all the time. Everybody laughs at me when I say it.
That's right. That's right.
Anyway,
all right.
Go ahead.
Let me read more of these comments, and I've still got a lot to do here. Right. All right. So we know about Diane loving Tyler. Okay, I got that. Then Sandra writes, Stuart, we appreciate all you and all the members of MS Views. Thank you very much. Cindy writes, you guys are so funny. Tamara writes, hoo-yah. All right. Giovanni is back to, it's a personal decision on how you manage your MS. Education. We are all our own advocate. That is quite true. Yes. And then we have Lisa, and I don't know who she's writing about. He says, he's been very humble about himself, but he brings in the best presenters, doctors. Oh, she's talking about me. Got it. Thank you, Lisa.
Dude, they're talking about you,
brings in the best doctors in 2020, 21. I've learned more about MS and how to deal with symptoms and on his virtual programs. Thank you. I'm not going to keep leading, Lisa, but thank you very much for that. Yeah, there you go. All right, back to Tamara. Western is the way to go. And then we have, we got a new voice here. We got a new person. Boy, I am going to mess up this name.
No, you're not.
Kenyatta, Quenetta. And Kenyatta, I'm just going to say it like that. I no longer tell people that I have MS. They would respond with someone they knew had MS and passed away. All right. Well, yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Chastity, great to see that you're on here. My God, I'm so happy you're here. So Chastity is from Memphis. All right. And I know she's got a big group. She's got her own MS organization out there. So I'm really, really glad that she's on here. We were supposed to be in Memphis last year, and of course that didn't happen, but we can't wait to get out there. And Chastity writes, y'all are awesome. I can't wait to, I'm not going to do your accent, all right? Y'all are awesome. I can't wait till we can get together. Look forward to connecting with you. I am here in Memphis, Step by Step, MS Awareness Foundation. See, I told you she had her own foundation, all right? Go. And they're ready to go, all right? And then Kenyetta's back again. You guys are doing a great wish. I wish I knew about this program sooner. Well, when did you want to know? We just got started on it tonight. All right. We're going to do this again, too. All right. And she continues on writing since the beginning. I would like, so she missed the beginning, I guess, of this. I would feel like people care when they would ask what symptoms I had when I was diagnosed until I realized they were asking to be able to compare things that they were going through. All right. That's quite true. But they wanted to see if they should get tested. What are they getting tested for? MS? Oh, this is another person now. This is Sandra. All right, I'm getting all these things confused here because I wasn't deleting in case somebody forgot the question, so I didn't want to delete it anymore.
You got to put all the protocols in place just to make sure that you don't miss something in the space. I made that rhyme. Okay,
that's the rapper in you, sir.
Very good, very good.
That's the poetry.
You rap with us all night. So they want to see how they should get tested. Has this happened to you? How do you respond? Sandra, I don't know if you're talking about MS getting tested or COVID.
Is she speaking of MS?
Yeah, I don't know. So, Sandra, if you can respond again and let us know.
Listening to their symptoms, being like, wait, do I have that? I need to go.
I just want to know the context of it. If they're asking, are you trying to walk people through? Are they feeling MS? Are they feeling like their symptoms relate to you, and you're trying to walk them through, or but look for that still. But I will say this to the young lady or the person who I think it was Kenyatta or whatever. I was going to say you're in the right place when it comes to other people and having that dialogue. I want to encourage you to surround yourself with a space of people, even in this virtual world, who have the disease just like you do, with no judgment, and who are just coming from a place of where you can get the right information, right? So keep coming to MS News and Views. Keep researching the other organizations that are around if you need to, but kind of build your own circle of where you can get valid information and trust from. And then you have the right stuff being implemented into you all the time, so somebody else doesn't come and take that away from you via conversation.
Thanks.
ahead.
And Sandra's back. She says MS test. MS test. Yes,
MS test. Okay. Go
All right,
go for it, D.
which of you want to answer?
Is
ahead,
there
D.
a MS test? Like, there is no thing where you pee on a stick and you can tell that you got MS, like with pregnancy. You know what I'm saying? So like it's not a strange thing, but a many layered thing for you to figure out. And I don't know about a test, but by the time you're wondering what's going on and you're taking MRIs, that's generally when you're going to know. MRI is going to take all of the speculation away.
I'll piggyback off of what D was saying. It's just, what's unfortunate is, it's an expensive disease. We know this. Like MS it's expensive to get diagnosed with MS because of the trial, the error, the doctor's appointments, the person over here, you went here, you've been pricked over here. And then at the end of the day, what does it come down to when you finally get to an MRI table or the spinal tap? Those things seem to kind of never lie with imaging or the stuff. So I think that needs to go noted, Stu. It's a heck of a disease. It's an expensive disease to get diagnosed with. Ain't that something? It's expensive to get diagnosed with MS.
It is. Hey, you know what's really bad? What's really bad is when you've had it for X amount of years. I got diagnosed at 39. All right. And now I'm 62. That happened a week ago. All right. And I had to go on Medicare recently. And oh my God, so everything changes with that too, because I'm finding I'm having to pay out of pocket more now.
Yes.
All right. So
thank you for saying that, Stu. Thank you for being open and sharing that, man. Thank you.
Well, I don't have a problem with being open. All right. But listen, I'm going to take a couple more online. By the way, Kenyetta just says, thank you for all that much appreciated for the responses. And she did the same thing as you, Damian. She's, giving the namaste, namaste. All right. Yeah, very good. All right. I want to take a couple more of these things online, and then I want to ask an important question concerning intimacy and how guys are handling this with MS. All right. It's a really interesting topic. I mean, I got a lot of questions, but I see that we're, now like less than 20 minutes to go. All right. And I want to hit on some of the questions that I have, because there are people out there that are going to want to know the answers.
Yeah, very important.
But going with what's on here again. So somebody is writing, again, thank you for your time, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to get into that. All those. Hey, everybody is saying thank you. I'm just going to say thank you also, but I'm not going to read all those out right now. Okay.
We thank you. We love you and we appreciate you. Thank you for
Right. So, Lisa, I'll have to talk to you about the MS support groups in the area another time, because, that's where you are down in Broward. Okay, but I'm up here in Central Florida right now. And like I said, Damian's in California and Tyler's in Austin, Texas. So, and, I don't know what goes on in those groups. Okay. All right. So what do we got here? Any questions here? So person writes, I love my life. I'm still normal. I'm 40. I'm in Atlanta, have MS 40 years. Wow. Awesome. Well, not awesome, but awesome that you're able to be here and talk about it,
Man, wow.
All right. So, yes, I am normal. I don't drink, take any antidepressants either. I am a woman. And well, okay, that's great. Thank you, Melissa, for sharing that. And
much respect, Melissa.
Oh, now she wrote, she's diagnosed. She's rewrote. Diagnosed 12. At 12, you were diagnosed at 12, Melissa, and she's now 52. Wow, that's unbelievable.
Yep.
Whoa.
That is unbelievable.
Wow, that is a test.
One of my friends got diagnosed at 12 as well.
Really?
Yep.
Wow, Melissa. Yo, somebody needs to. You need
and
to
had to go to high school, bro.
No,
MS, dude.
So, what I was talking about earlier about me being in school with that, they think after I was diagnosed, we look back in, my parents saved all my medical records from when I was a kid, and they found things going back to when I was 5 years old that the doctors came up with me with the carpal tunnel syndrome because I couldn't feel anything in my left hand, and my bladder issues as a small child, and my memory stuff, and having vertigo issues, and being diagnosed with celiac. All right. And yeah, but nobody thought of MS back then. All right. But yeah, so I could have been 5 years old and been if I was diagnosed. But yeah, I understand that. So,
Man,
all
Melissa,
right.
I salute you. My man. Yes.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
I needed
All
to hear
right.
that today. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you.
All right. Robin, I don't know what you're writing about. So why aren't doctors, including neurologists, misdiagnosing MS? Many doctors say it's psychological. We're not doctors, so we really can't answer that. So when we have a doctor online, maybe you could ask that question again and we could get their answer, because coming from us, it would be probably something similar to what you might think about.
Yeah, I
Guys?
think that's real. I think, a lot of times, there's something I want people like to know as patients, you have power. This is your disease. And we just talked about how MS is not the same for every person. So every neuro you go see, they've never seen what you are going through because it's you. They've never seen you before. And so I think what gets lost in the shuffle, D and Stuart, when we have these sit downs in doctor's office, there's that dialogue and that relationship and that trust factor that really has to be massaged first and foremost. Like a doctor can't necessarily treat you the same way they treated somebody else. There has to be some form of communication, walking a person through, and then not leaning on your own judgment, but really taking into account what a person is battling through with their MS and going from there. There's a lot to be said about trying to build a relationship that hopefully will come from the doctor as well as you to be able to meet in the middle to get the correct diagnosis. A lot of times it doesn't happen because the relationship doesn't get built. Either patient doesn't want to have one, patient's trying to have one, doctor doesn't want to receive it. There's a lot, you guys know this, there's a lot of important things that take place in those initial doctor visits. And based on that initial conversation, that can dictate whether you're left waiting 3 to 4 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years before you get diagnosed again the right way, or it can happen sooner.
That's right.
The conversation is something that gets overlooked a lot, Stu. I'm glad that they pointed that out. There is the focus of what takes place in that doctor's room. That's huge.
That is true. Now, let me go on. Sorry about this. Let me go on to another question, and I'm going to ask Damian to answer first, all right? Mike writes, great job, gentlemen, but that's not the question. Any advice that a doctor or another patient gave you that really changed the way you think about MS and how you manage it? And I just want to say that is so close to the next thing that I was going to ask from my list. So, Mike, I wanted to give you the kudos for it, and we're letting it go from there, all right? Come on, Damian. You want me to read it again?
My neurologist, he wants me on the strongest meds as soon as possible, but he also has a sheet of like, all right, these are the supplements that you take. All right, this is a study that is not super proven, but it's proven enough for me to recommend to you. It's things like that's what the relationship I have with my neurologist. He is one of the, you take the course of medications that are here and available to you, lucky you, but also there's an entire world that I think you need to wrap your mind around the diet, around these sorts of supplements, around whatever practice. Like now I meditate twice a day for at least a half hour, if not an hour. You know what I'm saying? So like these are not things that would not have happened, not only without the disease, but the doctor suggesting these things that are outside of traditional therapy.
That's good.
Okay.
That's huge.
Your turn, Tyler.
Yeah, for me, I'll get to it. I'm piggybacking off of D. My doctor, his name is Dr. Edward Fox, Round Rock, Texas. Shout out to you, Foxy. I love you. When I walked into his office, he said, Tyler, what are you looking to get out of this appointment? And it was like that moment when he actually didn't come in saying, you're going to do this, do this, do this, do this. He opened me up to have a conversation. And he said, what are you looking to get out of this? When I said that, when I wanted, what are my expectations? What do I want to do? All of that. He then encouraged me like D just talked about. He told me that we're going to find the drug, and it may be trial and error. You may have to go through 2 or 3. Don't get discouraged. Stay with me. We can find something. But you also have to take accountability as a patient to also take care of your body when you're not with me. And he said, I need you to do those things that make you happy. I need you to try to keep your body as clean and as pure as you possibly can. Don't go eat these Chick-fil-A milkshakes all the time like you've been doing, Tyler. Okay. So it wasn't so much about just taking things step by step and knowing that there are little wins, he said, and then try to take care of your body as best as you can, to the best of your ability. That's all he said. That gave me hope. That gave me hope.
Cool. Very cool. All right. On to an interesting topic. All right. Let's get into this intimacy stuff. Suggestions to maintain and enhance mental intimacy and love language. What are the known problems usually associated with sexual dysfunction for men and women with MS, and what can be done about them? This topic is not often discussed, but needs to be addressed. I do not know who wrote this, so I can't give a name with it, but it is one of the people that did register to be online tonight. I would like each to answer something about it. I'm sure we're going to get people asking questions going forward with this. So, Damian, if you could start this off, and wide open, whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah, it's a topic that's not quickly broached among the conversations that happen in the community, but it's certainly one of those bullet points with vision and pain and balance, and sexual function also can shift and change. And the guys have different things than ladies have. And I just know that I'm having these issues in 2021, because to have these issues in 1983, when there's only but so many MS meds and there's not a set of different medications to help me with the various symptoms, sexual health included, that are available to me. So it's like, what's in the good? Because the doctor wants to write the prescriptions, so let's have the combo with your doc to be like, hey, these are my issues, or have your partner talk with your doctor, because you are probably sitting in an issue blind spot most likely, and have your partner talk to the doctor, or at least get talking points from your partner to speak with the doctor about, and so you can have a more well-rounded approach to these matters. But something can be done. It's the future, baby.
Mm-hmm. Say that. I'm gonna piggyback off of you, D. I'm somebody, like, I'm open. Me and Damian talked about this too. I started battling erectile dysfunction when I was 21. So a lot of mine things swirling when MS started, like my body, things fell apart. Pieces of life fell apart for me. And you're talking about somebody who shed real tears. You're 21. How in the world do you go about having a conversation with a woman about MS that you really and truly love and like? Like, I have erectile dysfunction issues. There are a host of issues. I don't know if children are a possibility. It's like you go into the dating booth with the woman in the age of 20s, guys, and women looking to get married. It's like, X him, on to the next one. So I feel where you're coming from. I can only speak of it from a male perspective. The one thing that held true was I got to the point where I said, somebody's got to love me for me. Somebody has to accept my MS for what it is. And I'd rather kind of know that now before I waste your time and you waste mine. We're just talking about the dating piece of it. And so there's risk there. You're putting yourself out there. It's uncomfortable. But the moment I started doing that with the person I was dating, who is my wife now, Shane, we've been married 9 years. When I put out there that this is me, this is where I'm flawed at. I opened myself up for her to help me because I couldn't do it by myself. I opened myself up to getting to a point in our marriage where we make our bedroom sacred. That's our bedroom. So what ideas do you have? What ideas can I have? What can we come up with collectively? Because I need your help. And it frees you up, because we're all battling that stress of I'm having to battle MS by myself. It takes time. I don't want you to beat yourself up. It takes time to be open with people, y'all. But I will say this: I got the right person to believe in a want to try to help out with my erectile dysfunction issues, only because I became open about what I was experiencing. And when I became open, it made room for other people to help me. And watch this: when you talk about it, you're not the only doggone one going through it. You That's are right. The superwoman, because you actually stood up and said something. And it's crazy because I got more people reaching out to me about erectile dysfunction issues. Why? Because I did a YouTube video one time talking about it. And now everybody is like, oh, okay, so I'm not the only one. Nope, but you are so bold that you talked about it. And you'll see that other people will rally around you.
That's very true. I'm going to go a step further with this in a minute, but I'm going to let Damian go ahead because he's shaking his finger.
Go, D.
It's one of these things where it's all in you, and you don't see it. So when I was like, oh man, I got really fine, I'll fill this prescription. And I fill the prescription, and it's the young man who's like, yeah, okay, cool, and he fills it. And what did he say? Oh, no, I said, so do these pills work? Mm-hmm. And this man, he was at least 7 years younger than me. He's typing on his computer and he goes, yeah, they work. It's like, so you're younger than me, man. You have firsthand experience behind this thing. And so that sort of casual, glib interaction at the pharmacy counter is a window into, man, the multi layers that I can spin here and the onion of this thought that I can peel in my own brain. Just because it's real doesn't mean it's true. Okay, it's real in here, but it's not true in the world. And speaking with other people, like that young man at the pharmacist, like, yo, bro, you don't have these Skittles to have that thing, bro. I use these Skittles, bro. What's wrong with you? Makes you to be like, yo, I'm thinking things that feel right to me, but they might not actually be true in reality to the other people that I'm concerned about.
So I'm going to take this to a new level, all right? I'm going to take this to an R level.
Okay.
We're going to go to an R-rated level here. First off,
take them there, Stu. Watch out now.
Hey, I'm 62. I'm allowed to say whatever the hell I want to say. Come to this point, right?
Okay.
You don't like it, don't listen. All right. So for the whatever amount of people that are on here right now, if you don't want to hear what I'm going to talk about, I'm going to say it anyway. You can say goodnight now or not. All right. Firstly, the person that wrote this said that they wanted to know what kind of sexual dysfunction men and women could have. Now, Tyler answered, Damian answered, all right. And what, that the topics aren't often discussed. First off, we've had sex ed people on many of our programs, and they talk about, what a lot of men and women, regardless whether you have MS or not, what happens or could happen after a period of time. You lose sensitivity. Where? Well, not just in your brain, not just in your thoughts. Maybe you lose interest in your partner, all right, and that's going to upset the cart. But what about your own body? Okay, so, men, they could have erectile dysfunction, or they could have where the person can still get an erection, but loses total sensitivity. All right. So what is that called? Well, that guy's good. He could go all day. All right. Seriously. Yeah. I mean, it could work out better that way. It could work out better for that person. Right. And instead his partner will get tired. Right. Yeah. But there are toys. There are things to do. There are mind games that you could play with each other. You could fantasize. You could, they have things where you build a map on your own body. Where are all the sensitive spots? You actually make little dots here and there, and you play with each other. Literally, you play with each other, to find what is going to make the game work for you. All right. You can do this with your partner if you have the interest. And if your partner has the interest, if you really want to make it happen, sometimes it could actually happen if you can find what seriously titillates you. Okay. Yeah. And, it's these sex ed teachers that we've had come onto our programs. They bring the toys with them. They show what goes up and where it goes up to. All right. They show what guys can use for themselves with the automatic devices. They're not automatic. They're handheld. They're true manuals. All right. And what women could use, for themselves when they can't, get off on what their partner is doing with them, or what they could do with each other. I mean, you guys can use toys on each other and make it work.
Good job, Stu. Good job.
If you build up the excitement in your mind, I mean, I know the guys that have erectile dysfunction, and they being involved and making it pleasurable for their partner makes it all that much satisfactory. All right. They themselves may not have that ultimate that ultimate what's to happen. They don't have that orgasm. All right. They don't have the physical orgasm, but mentally they have that orgasm because they know that their partner just got off, that their partner is very satisfied with the love making that they just had, or the sex, or whatever you want to call it. All right. But it works. And if it works for your mind, it helps your body as well. And it just helps keep everything more intimate. So that's what I want to put into this.
I love that, man. I love that. Very, very well said. And I think there's something from the male perspective that allows us to, don't just be so caught up in the sex thing. There's a dialogue and there's a communication that a woman or your partner may operate off of, and you keep missing it. Yeah, you keep missing it because there's no dialogue. And when there's dialogue and communication, there's an added level of relationship. There's an added level of love or height that can be experienced within the confines of your bedroom or wherever you are, simply because you got to explore and you really had dialogue with that person about what makes you do this? How can we do this? How can we explore this? What can we research? Where can we go get these things that you probably never achieved? And watch this, you did it far beyond a doctor prescription or far beyond some other thing. You did it because you started having dialogue. Your erectile dysfunction, my erectile, premature ejaculation, you superseded all of that because you did something for free and you started communicating with your partner on what makes them tick and how you collectively get there as a unit.
TC, speak on it. TC 32.
That's you. You spoke to my heart, Stuart. You spoke to my heart. I'm so glad you said that. Rated R and everything. Thank you.
It's very hard for me to keep up with the two of you because you guys are in the talent industries. Tyler, you're online all the time with your forum, and Damian, you're always clowning it up and keeping people interested. That's really, really great.
Right? Making us laugh, D.
We're out of time. I still have like 40 more questions to go through.
We gotta go again, fellas.
I'm going to ask you guys to both do this again, all right? And we're going to set it up. We'll get it going, all right? And I'll bring in these other questions. We could even bring up a lot of what we just spoke about. I'm sure that whoever's on the next call, that they're going to be there and they're going to want to maybe bring up these same things again. For everybody that is still asking questions, I'm sorry, I can't get to them all. For those that are happy that I mentioned that I'm 62, well, thank you for that. And Coy, thank you. You're always on our programs. I do appreciate that. And another person though writes that the answering of his sexual dysfunction question, that it was just the way that we answered it worked out really well. So, okay.
Good.
All right, I'm not going to.
You guys find Damian Washington. Y'all keep following Stuart. You keep finding us. We're real people. You guys keep showing love to MS News and Views, okay?
And MS Views and News too.
32. Find him on the Instagram because he's the truth. Need that.
Got that, Tyler?
Yeah, I got you, baby. I got you.
You said it right all through until just now. Okay, I got it. Anyway, listen, everybody, this is going to be on our YouTube channel in less than a week. All right. We're very caught up. We are absolutely caught up to date. And we didn't get into any COVID questions tonight because we're not here about COVID. All right. That's for the medical community. We could have talked about, what we have done for ourselves during the COVID era. I think we did. I think we spoke about some of that. There were questions about socialization, cognition, and more about sex and more about stress relief and exercise. We didn't get to talk about exercise. And again, we could bring these things up the next time we talk, all right? I'm going to get together with Tyler and Damian. We'll try to come up with a date that we are going to do this again. Maybe we'll get it done before the end of February. Maybe we'll, won't be able to get to it until March, but we will get it worked out. And everybody that was on here tonight will get notification because you are registered with MS Views and News. And if you are registered with us, you are going to get to see and hear all about our programs. We do have a lot of things coming up next week. Well, on Monday, actually, that is next week. But on Monday, we're doing a program with a doctor who has spoken for us many times concerning specialty pharmacy and access to the medication process, the insurance process, things like that. It is a very interesting dialogue. If you want to come on, it is an afternoon program. We're doing this at 1 p.m. Eastern time. So check it out. Go to our website. You can see what's there. plus our other programs that we have remaining in February. We have Compass to Care coming up in underserved communities with Mitzi Williams. She's the key speaker on that program. Yeah, Mitzi is an awesome speaker.
Awesome.
And we're going to get Mitzi involved with some of the things that I was talking about with you guys earlier, and the rest of the world will know too. We're starting a new program series called Race, Culture, and Community. We are going to be talking about MS in underserved populations around the United States, and that's for anywhere. This is for people of color. Okay, it's all going to be brought in on this. All right, and we're going to make that work. And we have a special speaker who, right now, for the last few years, has only been dealing with corporate America and training corporations, the employees in corporations, about diversification and inclusion. Okay, and she is now going to be working with us on these programs.
Wow.
And so I hope you guys come on and listen to Sheila Thorne is her name. That program is on the 18th of this month. The one with Compass to Care with Mitzi Williams is on the 16th. We have the program on Monday. Then at the end of the month, we have Al Jolson Walker from from Charleston, South Carolina. He will be on to talk with one of our, I think he's talking about the COVID program. All right. And we have on and on. Oh, and then we have, listen to this, guys. We have our MS Hub series where we speak with people. I interview people from the different MS organizations in the United States. Well, on February 25th, we're going international, and I'm interviewing the CEO, George Pepper is his name, from Shift MS from the United Kingdom.
Look at you going international. You're crossing the pond, Stuart.
That's right. We're going across the pond virtually. So I don't have to worry about flying over that big sea. All right.
I know that's right.
All right.
No, that's right.
But yeah, we're going to be doing that as well. All right. And maybe that last week of the month is when I could do something with these two gentlemen again. All right. Because I'll be up here and it'll be a great time to do it all. All right. And I look forward to it. All right. And I hope you all did too. Guys, thank you for being on here. We did run over in time. We're over by 18 minutes already. All right. But
Sorry.
It happened. Is that 18 minutes? 8:48? Or is that 28 minutes? Oh, we're way over. We're 28 minutes over. Okay. There we go. I got bad thing going here. All right. So anyway, guys, thanks again for being on here. And everybody, thanks for being here. And I'm going to say goodnight. Thank you, everybody, from MS Views and News. Have an awesome evening. Stay safe.
Stay safe.
And wear your damn mask. Remember that.
Thanks for watching. Peace.